Thanks to CuriosityStream for supporting Crash Course.
Hello! As you might have noticed, I'm not Craig or Lily. My name's Michael Aranda, and I'll be your host for the last third of Crash Course Film. Now, since we're getting to know each other, let me ask you a question. What's your favorite film? Maybe there's a movie that makes you want to get fit, or become a spy, or save the world, or maybe you love anything that Zoe Saldana is in because she's just the coolest. Films can have an awesome story, or sloppy lighting, dazzling special effects, or characters who are just straight up stereotypes. All these things can affect how you feel about a movie, or whether you'd give it a thumbs up on Netflix, because that's a thing now, but they can also affect how it fits into cinema history and impacts the world around us. We'll think critically about a lot of different movies, starting with an American classic that many people call the greatest film ever made. It came from ambition and some unusual circumstances with Orson Welles at the helm, and even though it's been a long time since its release in 1941, the film's technical cleverness and story still resonate with audiences today. I am talking, of course, about Citizen Kane. Calling Citizen Kane one of the best films of all time is a complicated claim to make. To be honest, the idea of ranking movies and making a top 10 list may be fun, but it's not what film criticism is really about. It's about thinking deeply about how the movie works, both to us as an audience member and within history and society. It's about understanding, deconstructing, feeling, and learning. So, is Citizen Kane the greatest movie ever made? Well, we can't answer that because that's not the question we should be asking. But there's clearly something about it that sticks with us. And maybe that something is its origin story. But he also caught the attention of studio execs at RKO, one of the 5 film studios that reigned during the golden age of Hollywood. Not only that, but they gave him complete creative control, which was like really unusual at the time. So, he did what any plucky artist in his mid-20s would do. He packed up his stuff and invited his buddies from the Mercury Theater Company to come with him to Hollywood. Now, I don't want to sell them short. This was a group of very good actors, and despite his lack of experience with the movie industry, Welles leapt into this project with a lot of ambition, performing experience, and fresh ideas. He wanted to be involved in as many aspects of the film as possible, from directing to starring as the film's eponymous Charles Foster Kane. Welles filled out his production team with other talented men from Hollywood who were itching to experiment with their craft. People like Greg Toland, a cameraman who contributed a lot to the film's look and technical innovations. And Welles is credited as co-writer with Herman J. Mankiewicz, a journalist who hopped over into the world of filmmaking and was an experienced screenwriter by the time he worked on this project. But Citizen Kane is also a story that was influenced by real life, specifically tycoons like the news mogul William Randolph Hearst. While Welles insisted the film wasn't meant to be a personal attack on Hearst, all of the parallels and the fact that Mankiewicz was a former friend of Hearst made him take the film real personally. And when you have a buttload of money and power over lots of news outlets, your grudges become public. Fast. Initially, RKO and Orson Welles planned on debuting Citizen Kane at the Radio City Music Hall like other big RKO movies, but the venue turned it down. Eventually, the film's release was delayed until May 1st, 1941 in New York, and the critical reception was actually pretty good. A review by Kate Cameron, published on May 2nd in the New York Daily News, called Citizen Kane one of the most interesting and technically superior films that has ever come out of a Hollywood studio. The controversy did mess with the film's commercial success, though. It didn't gain much public traction until it was released again in the 1950s. So part of what makes Citizen Kane memorable is that it was an ambitious project headed by a maverick filmmaker and had a lot of drama around its release. We humans do love ourselves some drama. But the content of the film speaks for itself too. The creators of Citizen Kane had the freedom to play and innovate. Many of their technical experiments changed the way film was being used as a storytelling medium, which arguably could be another way to define greatness. It takes a keen eye to notice some of these tricks, or at the very least, some good commentary track.